So hello and welcome once again. This is Chris Howard. I'm here in Los Angeles, California with the one, the only, Allie Brown. Hi.
Hi. How are you?
So glad you're here.
I'm great.
Yeah, you're
Thanks.
great.
I'm so glad to be
You're
here.
great and you're glad.
I'm great and I'm glad, and this is awesome. It's been great.
Fantastic. Well, I know we're at a live event. We have a seminar that's happening in the background back here, and you've been in the back of the room getting ready to go up and do what you do best. Now, I know you. I've known you for a couple of years. As the e-zine queen, and that's how you made your mark in internet business. And maybe you could tell me a little bit about it, because
well, that's a little bit how far back should we go here?
Hey, it's your show. You go as far back as.
I didn't start off being an internet marketer. I had a business, and actually, my last job was about 8 years ago. I was in New York City.
Isn't that nice to be able to say that? My last job was 8 years ago.
Last and final, because I was unemployable. I was completely unemployable.
Why is that, by the way?
I hopped around job to job, and I kept looking for a job that would give me freedom. I didn't understand that I need to have a business. And I'd never just considered going to business by myself.
Yeah, you hear that quite often with entrepreneurs or people, the fact that they have a hard time holding down a job because there's something. Is it something about the spirit or something?
I didn't get fired.
You didn't get fired.
Left.
Okay.
Yeah, I would get restless. I want to change things or come in wearing flip-flops, or I just would want to. I would always do a great job and I would always get promoted, but I would just get restless. And my last job, I decided to leave. I just had it, and also I'd seen it was an ad agency. I saw a bunch of freelancers coming and going. I'm like, okay, that's really cool, and I know that they make in a month about what I make in a year, so I'm just going to do this, and I just quit. And I didn't know where my next client was coming from. I didn't know where the money was coming from, but I just stepped out and did it, and decided to be. Well, I had gotten good at.
How did you feel at that time when you're stepping out? Because it's like. There's a lot of people that come to that point, that choice point, and they make the other decision just to stay because it's easier or it's more comfortable. Yeah, you did it anyway. What were you feeling at the time? You were feeling.
It was fear, but I had more faith than the fear. And when I'm talking to my students about this, because this is always where they're at when they come to a seminar or they're coaching with you, if your fear is stronger than your faith, then everything logical around you would say, "Don't move, stay where you are." It doesn't make sense, but. I just felt there was something greater for me, and it was more painful to stay there for me personally. Even though, my parents, they thought I was going to die. I left, and what would I do without health insurance and all this stuff? And it was scary, but I just was exhilarated because I was suddenly in control of my own life. And
how old were you?
20. When was this? 29.
29.
Yeah. Yeah. God, that seems so long ago. And back in New York too, which is I love New York, but it's hard.
That's 2-3 years ago, right?
Yes, of course.
Yes.
I love New York, but it's hard to live there when you're broke. It's really hard to live there.
Yeah, it's an expensive place.
And the first problem I had is I didn't know that marketing was my biggest job as a business owner. So I did what I saw everybody else doing, which was a big mistake. And I went to a lot of networking groups and meetings and tried to get business, and it just wasn't working.
That's just not I went through that. I remember when I was launching my business, it was like, you do what you can, and it seems that it's the networking groups, and it's just like, that's what comes to mind, but that's really not necessarily what makes it happen.
Yeah.
I was going to all the chamber meetings, all that stuff.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
So it wasn't working for you either.
That's chamber face. Yeah. There's actually a woman who heard me. I was at a group with her in New York in like '99, and now she comes to my workshops. It's wild. And now I'm her coach, and it's so funny. Everything comes full circle. So anyway, we both laugh now. That wasn't the way to get business. And I had tried everything and I was about to give up. And then
now, when you go into these things, what was your business at the time? What were you marketing?
I was a copywriter.
Okay.
So that's the one skill that I gotten pretty good at my job because I'd studied. I really liked writing, and I realized you can make a lot of money with copywriting. So I just chose that as my business. And when I realized that I was bad at marketing myself, I actually liked the internet because I could kind of hide behind the computer. And I started an email newsletter to promote myself because I'd seen some other people doing this. And I started with a list of 10 people, which included my parents and my cats, and just started from there. And then an amazing thing happened. I realized when I was sharing information about my business and sharing helpful information, people were forwarding it around. And then I was getting clients and getting more clients.
So now, was there a lot of thought and strategy that went into this, or was it just, I'm noticing some things happening?
Yeah,
really?
Yeah, I really, all it was, and I'm known as the e-zine queen because I got really good at marketing with e-zines, but all e-zines are email newsletters. That's all they are. And all I had was like a quick tip and then a little bit about my business in the email. And that started spreading the word about the business, and that started growing, and I started getting clients like Dun & Bradstreet, New York Times Digital, Scholastic
And you were out
Books.
there right in the beginning of all of this.
Yeah.
So you're kind of riding the crest of the wave.
And I didn't know what I was doing, and this is the great thing, and I started getting business, so then my freelancer friends are like, hey, you're getting business, and you're wearing nicer suits, and like, what's going on? And so they said, can you tell us about
So you were getting
the e-zines?
copywriting business as a result of the e-zines. Got
Exactly.
It. Got it.
And it works for any business owner. But what happened was they started asking me to write a guide on how to do this, and I didn't know how to get a real book published, but I saw people doing these ebooks, and so I wrote an ebook on how to publish e-zines to get you business. And I had this list growing over here, this email newsletter list growing, and then I had the ebook, and I thought, maybe the list would like to know about the ebook. And that is really the moment my life changed, because I stopped selling my time, and I'd started selling information. That's when I became an information marketer.
So you started selling the ebook to the list, and did you got a big response from that?
Yeah, it was very cool, because you see the emails start coming through in the sales, and I was like, I like this, because I'm not working right now, and money's coming in, and I wake up in the morning and there's money in my inbox. And so I started going to all kinds of seminars and learning more about internet marketing.
Now, how important was that to the process? Because a lot of people discount education, they discount learning, they discount seminars. How important, I mean, what happened, what did you learn at those seminars that accelerated your growth or accelerated that process? Or did it not?
I think it's three things. I think one is the information you get, obviously, and I wouldn't be where I am today unless I had gone to, I just started going to everything I could, and reading everything I could, and buying everything I could, and just absorbing everything.
Was it but specifically focused on marketing and e-marketing?
Internet marketing,
and
yeah. And then the second thing, I think, is the networking with the people, you know, and meeting other people who could fill in parts that I wasn't good at, and doing joint ventures. And then the third was just being surrounded by like-minded people. And because I was working by myself so much, I didn't know there were places like this, you know, that you could go and be with the happy people, you know, the entrepreneurs, and because it's like, oh my God, I found my people. And I still go to live events even today. You know, I run a multi-million-dollar business today, and I still attend events year-round, because it's so important, not only to keep learning, but to keep your level up with the type of people you hang around.
So actually to meet people and to do the networking. Huh, interesting. And so so now you say multi-million-dollar business. What is it made up of? What are the components of that?
It's information marketing, and what that means is just basically my business is providing information. I sell information, and it's in many forms. I have ebooks, I have physical courses, I should have brought some of my products in here. I have CDs, then I also do teleseminars on the phone. I do coaching. I do live events. It's kind of about a third of each. I do the product sales, and then coaching, and then I have only one live event a year. I don't know how you do so many.
Yeah, I do. I've
but
got
they're a lot of
tons.
work.
Yeah,
but you have a big team.
Yeah.
We operate pretty lean, but I do one big event a year. It's called the Online Success Blueprint Workshop, and that walks people through my whole internet marketing system.
And that's how many days?
It's 3 days, and it's in November.
So one 3-day event a year. And then the rest, so a lot of product sales, a lot of coaching. How much coaching do you do? Is it one-on-one coaching? Or
no, I really I have a few different tiers, and this will probably, you know, it keeps evolving and changing and all that. But I used to coach one-on-one. I don't anymore. I have one high-level group. It's called my Platinum Group. This year it was 20,000. It's going to be more next year. My middle-level Marketing Mastery is a $3,000 a year program. That's all by phone, and we walk people through strategies to grow their business, particularly around marketing. And then I have a bottom level silver, it's called the Silver Mastermind, that's like $50 a month. We have about 500 people in that. And so it's all these different wheels turning all the time that keep bringing in money. And I love what I do, because I'm teaching people how to do what I do. That's all I do, is I'll go do something, and then I'll create a program that teaches it. So like when I had my first workshop, I created a program to teach you how to do a workshop.
Huh.
So that's all I keep doing, and they love it. Interesting.
Now you say you operate pretty lean, although I know you've started to grow a team here. That you got a couple of people with you now.
Yeah, I did not have one full-time employee until 2 months ago.
That's fantastic. I mean, multi-million dollars and no employees. That's fantastic. I mean, that's.
In fact, I'm kind of freaking out. I had to hire somebody.
Really?
It's a whole new world. I got like help you pay benefits and like all this stuff, and but we're virtual. There's no office. I happen to have all women working for me. You know, it's just
all men working for you.
No, women.
Oh, I thought you said all men.
Yes.
Got it.
Maybe next year. No, we just have a lot of fun, and most of the women who work for me are stay-at-home moms, so they love it. and it's just a great team. I love everybody
Now,
I work
do you
with.
tailor? Did you say something about tailoring most of your content toward women as well?
You know, I didn't happen to choose that, but women really resonate with me because there's a lot of people out there teaching internet marketing. There's very few women who not only can they learn from, but who's a good role model for them. You know, it's really great because even at your event, I have women coming up saying, "It's so great to finally meet you. I've been on your list for years, and there's just nobody doing what you're doing and the way you're doing it." And they say also they like it that I'm very open. I'm very vulnerable. I share things about my life, and they really love it.
Fantastic. So now you, in terms of the ebooks, what types? How many do you have, or what types of products do you have? Solid products that have been developed that you deliver, or is it mostly the coaching? That
No, we have several products. The biggest seller is still it's called Boost Business with an e-zine, and it's a kit that teaches you how to do an email newsletter that gets you business. I have a book called Power and Soul, which is a paperback book. It was a self-published book that I did with my coaching students. We did it together.
Is that a long book or a short book?
Nope, short book.
Short book.
Little like long bus or little bus.
Yeah. Oh, it's a special bus.
It's a special
Got
book.
it. Got it.
Special. It's the short book bus. And then I have, what else do we have? The Online Success Blueprint in a box, which is the workshop packaged. And that's it. We're generating a lot more products. Oh, the Workshop Marketing Secrets. Huh. That one.
So
too.
and most of it's all geared around internet marketing because it's
a lot of it. Yeah, I'm kind of moving away from that because my list is really looking for a lot of business information now too. And it's funny when women have the chance to spend time with me one-on-one, the most questions they ask me are actually mindset. It's really interesting. Yeah,
that is interesting because it seems to me that a business owner, especially people that want to break into the internet, marketing is it. That's key to success. Yet you're saying that it's really the mindset and the attitude that they're coming to you for.
They come to me for marketing and making money. When they have the chance to ask me questions, it's amazing the stuff comes out. I mean, they're in tears. They deal with a lot of fear. They deal with
fear of what typically? Like somebody's coming to you, they want to market their business, but they got fear of what?
The women, it's fear of, I think, believing in themselves. Sometimes it's fear of making more money than their spouse. That's come up with a lot of women as well. There's a lot of, of issues of them maybe feeling selfish, that they're taking time away from their family to do this. It's very different than a lot of men because they're dealing with a lot of their caretaker responsibilities, and a lot of them have families, and a lot of them get to a point that they may be making good money, but they're scared to take it to the next level because it does. Well, it takes risk. And you can get to a certain point just kind of playing it safe, and then you really have to look up and say, all right, the bridge better appear when I step out because this is it. And
now when you say step out, is that because most of them are working jobs simultaneously, or?
No, but you know what, as you get to a point that you want to grow your business more and you need to invest in more resources, you need to step it up and maybe invest in coaching, you need to go to more seminars, you need to hire people, and that's where they get stuck.
Right.
When suddenly they need to put more money out. And it still happens.
That's interesting. Yeah, I noticed that.
With me, it still happens with every business, I think.
Right.
You have to make those big decisions. It's just more zeros. We're making bigger decisions when it's hiring people or opening an office.
Sure.
But for them, it's such a core thing they have to deal with.
And this comes up in the coaching that you do with them mostly?
Yeah.
Interesting. And how do you help people through that? What do you?
We step back and have them look at their life and like what's really stopping them. And it's funny, we probably see this in coaching too. They always know when you turn it back on them and you ask them. And a lot of them, it's just fear. It's simply having faith in the wrong thing.
So what do you, faith in the wrong thing, I like that. So what do you, now you say, okay, so you've been primarily in marketing and you're getting a lot of business questions, you're getting a lot of psychology type questions. What do you see, how do you see expanding your business next? Where are you taking it?
Launching a magazine this fall.
Really?
Actually.
Really?
Yeah.
What kind of magazine?
Yeah, you heard it here first on the Chris Howard Show.
On the Chris Howard Show.
Yeah, actually we're just started working on this. What's really funny is I've always loved, I like the business stuff too, but I'm a girly girl. I love fashion. I love life. I love being healthy. I love working out. And I end up talking about all this stuff with my students, and so I'm launching a magazine for women entrepreneurs that's going to cover business issues, but also like lifestyle.
Fantastic. Are you doing it? I mean, is this going to be on newsstands, or is it going to be small?
Eventually, I want it to.
So, you're going to build. Yeah, and I have friends. I have a friend. His name's Ruben Buchanan in Australia, and he launched Wealth Creator, which has become a fairly big magazine out there. But in the beginning, it started as a newsletter.
Exactly.
That was, yeah.
Yeah. So I have a print newsletter that we do for my students right now, but then they'll start they don't know this yet, but in the fall they're going to suddenly get like a 60-page magazine, and they're going to go, holy crap. And then that's going to start it. Then we'll get advertisers, and then we're going to take it to another level.
Yeah, it's exactly how he did Wealth Creator. Now they've just launched another magazine, Think Big. I'm actually a shareholder in that, but they've gone on to build great things from exactly the strategy that you're talking about.
And I have some other big stuff in the works, but I can't talk about it.
You
just
can't
yet.
talk about it, really?
Next time.
Yeah,
when I'm
next
back
time
on your show.
Same bat time, same bat channel. So you, so what are you most excited about in your life right now?
I think that I'm changing women's lives. I really am. Not only they're making more money, but they're just in a different place. And you know, I have some of my students who are making an extra $5,000 a month. Some of them are breaking 7 figures this year, but they're enjoying their lives more. Not just from the freedom.
Some of them are breaking 7 figures this year, just using the principles that you're talking about. And
yeah. For most of them, now these are. I think something that makes me different too from a lot of other people teaching internet marketing is that I deal with real business owners. I'm not about creating businesses from scratch that get rich quick on the internet. I'm like,
so they're marketing their current businesses using your strategies rather than going out and finding some product, or I mean, they probably do a little bit of both. I mean, you probably get both types, or is it
mostly service-based businesses?
Really?
So women who are coaches, consultants, authors, speakers, those type of people. They're stuck right now because they're working hours for dollars. They're looking for a way to leverage what they do, to make money online, to raise their rates. And I said, listen, you could still work with clients, but why not only work with a few and charge them a lot, and only work with the ones you love, and then you can have all this passive income coming in on the internet.
So how are they? How would somebody in a service business, like, give me an example of one of the coaching you said.
Yeah.
So somebody's a coach and they work with clients, and you say, hey, why don't you develop some of that passive income? And how do they start? Where do they?
Well, the first thing I have them do, because often they want to make more money immediately, is look at their current offerings in their coaching and see how they can, first of all, raise their rates. They're always charging too little, and then bundle their services into packages. So charge a lot more, insist on a longer commitment from their clients, and come up with these outrageous packages. And at first it's so funny, they're like, no one's going to pay that, and then they get it. People do it, and then they're like, wow, this is great, why didn't I do this years ago? So that gets their income up to start, so they can start working and having more time on the info products, because those take time to put together. And then we look at their core expertise. For example,
do you help them develop the info products as well?
Not personally.
But
my online success blueprint walks them through it. Or if they're in my platinum group, we go through it together.
Sure.
And the next step is looking at their core expertise and looking at products we can do from that. For example, one of my clients is a nutrition fitness coach. So instead of working one-on-one with clients, why not also have like a home study kit, like a course people can do it themselves. So there's a notebook, there's a tape measure, all this stuff that they could sell for people who can't afford to work with them. They joint venture with a supplement company, so now they're getting commissions off supplements they recommend through the website. Just tying in all these different income streams instead of being limited to one.
And this is something, so you say you look at their core strength, and where do you go from there? Because I get what you're saying, but it's this is like step 2 of the process, or is it?
Well, we look at their expertise, their topic, whatever it is.
Right.
Yeah.
So
that's what we do
like
first.
the nutritionist.
Exactly.
And then you say, how do we expand this in different directions and create multiple streams of income based upon your core strength? Mm-hmm. Got it.
Yeah. Whether it's a financial planner or a nutrition coach or a dog groomer, or I've worked with someone who markets funeral planning services. I mean, just like all these different businesses. The blueprint applies to everybody.
Huh. And then is there a step 3, or is that?
Yeah, they start selling it and make money.
They start selling it and make money. Good.
A big tip, and I want to give to people who are watching this too, is that a big mistake people make is a lot of them start with a product before they have a business or before they built a list. And even though we all know that business doesn't really operate sequentially, you kind of have to do everything at once. Right. I tell people, start with an e-zine, start with a newsletter, because you're giving away free information. People sign up for the list, you start building a list to your target market, and then when the product's ready, you have someone to sell it to.
Right.
Instead of coming up with this product and walking around going, hey, who would like to buy this?
Even in my field, I've seen a lot of people come through various programs that I've taught and my trainers have taught, and they come and they think, well, all I've got to do is come up with my product, or all I got to do is come up with my book, and they go lock themselves in the cellar for 6 months to come up with this perfect product, and then they come out and they don't have a market for it. They've done nothing. Yeah, so I totally relate to what you're saying.
In fact, when it comes to list building, I tell my clients the who is actually more important than the what. it's more important to look at your target market and have that very, very clear. Because if you do not, you will have a list that's very diluted, that you will not know what they want. If you have people from all types of businesses and all over the place, let's say, like, if you're a nutrition coach, for example, we'll use them. Okay, well, let's say that you know that your best client are moms, like married moms with small kids. Well, that's who you should write to, because then you know where to find them. You know how to market to them, you know how to talk to them, you know what language to talk to them in, and you can develop products especially for them.
So you're saying you have to become that targeted in that?
It's best. It's really good, because then that's the key to long-term income, because you can continually offer them products and services that are also related to what you do. So if they're moms, why not have people buy ads for babysitting services? Why not advertise books and other services for moms and any things to do with moms? You see why that makes a difference instead of starting with a product.
Would you have several different e-zines geared toward different target
Some
markets?
Some people do. I tell people to start with one because they get overwhelmed.
Right.
But that really is the best and thing, because then that really guarantees the longest income. You will make more money faster by niching.
Right.
And so if you can really narrow down who your client is, and people fight me on this all the time. They're like, but everybody needs my product. I'm like, okay, even though you may work with everybody and everyone could use your product, you need to pick one type of fish to go after.
Right.
Because otherwise you'll just get anything and anyone, and it's going to be a lot more work.
So find your target market, direct it directly to them, and you're saying you could start the whole business just on an e-zine.
That's all I did. For no money. I mean, email's still free. Email's still, people are like, email's dying and blah, blah, blah. But email is still the fastest, cheapest, easiest way to get the message out to millions of people.
Now, because you do have the open rates are going down on email, and do you find that how's that affecting your business and the business of your clients?
My business keeps doubling.
Yeah, so
it's not really a big deal.
Right.
It is a challenge for sure. Like 7 years ago, you could just put up a website and have a sign-up form and just say, free newsletter, and people would actually sign up. Now you have to treat it as if you're selling it. For someone to give you their email, you have to convince them that this is going to change their life. So whether you're offering a newsletter or a free report or anything to get people to opt in, which means sign up and they're giving you permission to market to them, you have to make sure that you do two things. You get their attention, and then you really lay out the benefits, like what they're going to get.
How do you market the opt-in? How do you do that? What are some of the ways that you...
To get people to sign up?
Yeah.
To build the list?
Sure.
Let's talk about list building.
List building.
Yes.
And first off, how important is a list?
It's pretty important.
Yeah.
You can get started without it. Money buys speed, like in any business. It's good to have money, because then you can essentially, you don't want to buy email lists, but you can do targeted pay-per-click advertising, Google AdWords.
And why don't you want to buy the list?
It's still a shady business. It's really, really risky to work with any company that's selling emails. It's easier to buy direct mail lists, like physical addresses, and then advertise to them to get their emails. It's a long process, so I won't explain it. But the email address, it's still very, very shady. And you can get in big trouble for spamming, because a lot of these people really haven't given permission when you're buying lists.
So in terms of list building, you're saying there's, what were some of the ways? Banner ads, did you say? Or
no.
Google ad? Okay. Well, I thought that you said.
No. The first thing I tell my clients is, even though there's all these like exciting ways to build a list, the first thing I need to do is look at their target market, who it is. The fastest route to building a list fast is seeing where those people are already, like in big groups. So let's say that you wanted to sell your seminar to speakers, like in particular. Well, let's look at where speakers already are. They're members of the National Speakers Association. They belong to speaking groups and organizations, Toastmasters. There's all these places they're already gathering in large numbers. Look for ways to get in front of them. Buy ads in those magazines and newsletters. You can buy mailing lists from those organizations. You can try to get articles in their magazines. You can try to speak in front of those groups. You can try to do joint ventures with the people in charge of those groups. This is a list building method not a lot of people talk about, but that's the surest, quickest way, is to find out where those people already are and just get in front of them. And I mean, we cover like 100 different methods in the program, but so
that's really what you focus a lot on list building.
We do. Even though you could spend your whole life on list building. I have a relatively small list compared to a lot of marketers, so I focus more on monetizing the list. My list right now is about 28,000 people, compared to a lot of people in internet marketing that's kind of small. But after, it's funny, you go to these seminars and then everyone's talking in the bar and you're comparing lists and your ROI and all this stuff. And I was talking with one of the marketers at one of these big swing-in internet marketing seminars like last year, and we're talking about what we make from our lists, and my dollar amount was like 10 times what one of these guys was, and he just was blown away. He's like, I can't believe you make that much from your people. And I'm like, well, that's actually more important than building the list. It's the relationship you have with the list. So if people want to get on my list, it's at alexandriabrown.com or allybrown.com. And you're going to see how I do a newsletter once a week. It's very conversational. You feel like people come up to me here and they're meeting me and they're like, I feel like I know you because you talk about your house and like your mom and, and I used to show pictures of my cat and things like that. And they feel like they're your friend, and that leads to trust, and that's very important. So, have you ever been on someone's list and then you just get a bunch of junk and you end up
all the time?
Yeah. Okay. This is still a big problem, and people aren't getting it. I give so much good information that when I do offer something, they buy, and that takes a little work in the relationship. You have to build that up first.
Right. But I mean, it's real common to see. I mean, there's and you know which ones just to delete right away, because they're just sending you, they're pitching something else, or
Yeah.
Interesting. So you, some of the ways that you do the list building. How about the social networks? Are you involved with those at all?
I'm playing around on Facebook. It's really fun, and I am finding people are getting on my list through there.
Really?
Like friends of friends will get curious and see my picture and click on it, and then they'll say, "Wow, I've signed up." They're actually writing.
I think anybody would click on your picture if they saw it.
Well, thank you, Chris.
So click there.
But even my target market's women, so I guess they want to click too. Hey. Stick it on the list.
You do live in LA, yes.
Yeah. So I'll have people write me and say, I was looking at your site and this looks great, and so I signed up for your newsletter. I'm not an expert on Facebook, but what I do is I'm very strategic in who I network with on there. And I know my target market. They're women between like 30 and 55, and so and they're
so you ignore
owners.
The men or block the men.
We actually do. I'm sorry. Unless they write like I'm on your list or something. Because actually, I'm almost to the maximum of friends now. So
how many? What's the maximum of friends?
I think it's 5,000.
Really?
Yeah, and I think I'm up to 3,000 now, but it's happening so fast. And like I'm getting men asking me out from Turkey, and like strange things. I'm like, get these guys all off of here.
I got that too. Like I was looking at men from Turkey. Yes.
So just remember target market. Don't go into any of these methods blindly. You have to remember who your customer is. You could
target men from Turkey, and you could start a whole new.
We could do a whole website on men in Turkey and internet marketing for men in Turkey, and but it's not my market.
Yeah, so. Right. So that's interesting. So how fast did that list grow on Facebook to 3,000? Because that's substantial.
Well, they're not my opt-ins, remember, but
right,
I have.
But this
they're
happened
in there. God, probably. I think I just joined in like January.
That's there's something to that. They could grow that fast since January.
Yeah, and now I'm testing advertising on there. I bought some ads, and I'm testing filling my workshop on there too.
Interesting.
And getting some people, but. I'm not going to sell a $3,000 workshop directly on there.
Sure.
We do what's called lead generation advertising, which is you always advertise something free. So I'm inviting them to the free teleseminars on internet marketing, which start next week. And that's what gets people interested in coming to the event. On your ebooks,
are your ebooks paid ebooks, or are they free ebooks that get for like an opt-in for email addresses?
Yeah, I have one free special report that I give away. So some of them I call them special reports. It's just a digital file. And but mostly they're paid. But
do you do on the special reports? Do you do the paid ads ever to drive people to the special reports, or is that primarily?
Sometimes.
Do you really? How effective is that?
A great way to target is buying ads in other e-zines, because people you usually can get very targeted then who the e-zine's for. So let's go back to the example of if you're marketing to moms. I would go to some of the e-zine directories and do Google searches, find websites that have newsletters directly to moms, and then see if they'll accept advertising.
No kidding.
And then advertise a free e-zine or a special report, which gets people back to your site.
Something simple, something easy, a low barrier to entry.
You never want to spend money on advertising and then advertise a paid product. You want to get them on the list first. A lot of people miss this connection. I know you know this, but a lot of people, they spend all this money on advertising trying to get people to buy something when really they need to get them on the list first, because 99% of your first-time visitors on your website will not buy.
Yeah, it's developing the relationship.
Yep, get them on the list first, and then over time they're going to know, like, and trust you.
That's interesting. What's surprising to me is the strategy of putting an ad inside a newsletter, because typically, I've done a lot of joint ventures with people and affiliate relationships, and what I would find is if I put it in a newsletter, it would just get couched in amongst everything else, and the responsiveness would go down versus getting a direct appeal to the database for you.
Well, that's always the best.
Yeah,
sure. Getting your or affiliates, or joint ventures to market for you. I did a teleseminar series in March and got 6,000 people on the calls because of my affiliates.
Wow.
And just for any beginners listening right now or watching, we're not on the phone, are we? Hi.
I interviewed Alex Mendozian a little while ago, and he said listening to. He can't stop saying listening. For any of our viewers,
calling in from Marina Del Rey, California. We got 6,000 people because I offered a commission to my affiliates to drive people to the call. They didn't get paid to drive people to the call, but if they bought my product, which I sold on the call, then they got a nice commission. And then I built my list up. I got thousands more people added to my list from that. So now, commission always works.
Have you found that with the affiliates or joint ventures that you do, have you found that many of them are willing to send out some sort of an advertisement for your free report?
I haven't done the free report one.
Not the free report.
Because we usually do an event like a teleseminar or something.
There's something. There's some sort of, got it. Because the free report is just, basically you're just collecting database with that. So I was just curious what type of success one would have with something like that.
Someone could definitely do that though. Yeah. What I would suggest is you create like kind of an event around it, like a timeline, like this report's only available for the next few weeks, or you won't get the same report, we're going to take some information out of it. You always need a sense of urgency.
Sure.
And that's why I like creating events around any type of, my product sales will like multiply by 10 times. I could have a product on sale on the website and sales always come in all the time. But if I create an event around that product, like maybe I'll add some stuff to the product and call it the new version 2.0. It's their big relaunch, and that's what the call was in March. I took Boost Business with Your Own eZine, my product, which has been out for years. And we gave it an upgrade. Basically, we fixed the typos. And then it was in version 5.0. I'm being funny. We added some stuff, but we were kind of like, it's a good chance to finally fix the typos. It's been like 3 years. And people went nuts. Like, they went nuts. We sold like $300,000 worth of it, I think.
Wow.
It was just...
In what period of time?
In like 2 weeks.
In 2 weeks, you sold $300,000 of
one product.
Version 5.0.
Yeah. Typo
one
free.
Product, typo free. And was there an event linked to it, you said?
Yeah. Well, the event was the big relaunch, and also we did something to add urgency. We gave $100 off for that week only. And that's really important when people are doing these events. You have to give them a reason to act now.
What was the price point on the package?
It was only $497, but I dropped $100
You dropped $100. And you did $300,000 in 2 weeks. That's now in terms of after the fact deliverables. Is there a live event where you go teach a 3-day event?
That was a product.
It's a product, one-time thing. It's delivered out the door. You got $300,000. Wow, that's substantial. Yeah.
I freaking love product. I do. I'm getting all like, it's just wonderful.
Really? we can talk about that later. Now, what do you say? Urgency is one of the keys to really make things work. What are some of the other keys?
And let me mention something about that too.
Yes.
It's something I hate about a lot of the internet marketers is everything's urgent. It's like last time ever, $100 out here, and you can't do it all the time.
Right.
Like every week you can't be saying last ever or it's only this week, and you really have to, at the beginning of the year now, we lay out a whole promotion calendar for the year and we plan these events because you don't want to hammer your list. They're going to start ignoring it. It's like the boy who cried wolf. They're going to be like, yeah, okay, last ever, whatever. And so you have to be very strategic about it. So different ways of getting people to buy now. You can, you always want a time limit or a sense of urgency as if the product may run out. Like after my online success blueprint workshops, this is the live event, we record it, we package it into a product. And because I don't want that selling all year, because then we do the other live event, we release a limited amount of copies. And people freak out, they love it, because we count down from like 150 all the way down. And then but by the time they're sold out, that's usually when I'm marketing the next event. So we're always marketing something. But that gives a sense of urgency that they need to get their hands on it.
That's nice. I like how you lay out the calendar for that. Now, I just have one more question on the $300,000 that you did. Did you do that with joint ventures and affiliates, or did you do that all to your own list?
That was affiliates, yep. That was the big event. I got 6,000 people in the call. Well, they registered for the call. Generally these days, especially in a free call, you should know about 30% will actually show up to the call. And of that amount, I can't do the math right now, but we had hundreds buy the product. And
now, did you do the call all by yourself, or was it? Did you have other people? Yeah.
I'm good now. I could just talk. I just
Really?
yap. Yeah.
Yeah,
I used to
yeah.
be terrible at that. A good tip for people getting started is have someone else on the call with you, even if it's just a friend or someone to interview you. But now I can just, I'm just get on the phone like, listen, here's how it is. Here's what we're going to talk about today. And I just have so much fun, and they seem to like it.
Huh.
It's awesome.
Very cool. But it sounds like you get so much going on. And what like when you look at the future, and you look at, I know you said you had a couple of projects that you can't talk about. What do you see ultimately for you? What kind of direction are you headed in?
More mainstream media. It's interesting. I started in this very tight niche. I mean, e-zines, right? And then I moved into information marketing and teaching online success. And now I'm like a business mentor for women. I'm really, really getting into a lot of spirituality. And I'm starting to talk about it with my students, and it's just taking our relationship to a new level. It's really cool. I was on a call last week.
So you're going to launch a cult?
Yeah,
Yes.
they're very profitable.
Yes.
Well, I see the way people are acting at your events, and I'm like,
What are you talking about?
Chris should
Come
start
on,
a cult. They're dancing. You have like the Chris Howard dancers. It's like solid gold.
Solid,
it's just,
yeah.
but it's amazing. I love being able to talk about all this stuff with them. We talk about email marketing, then I'll talk about God and prayer and like how that fits into my life and my business, and they're loving it. Like we're really, there's nothing left we can't talk about. And I want to go more mainstream media to reach a lot of women around the world, and really what I want to do is bring more women into business around the world, because we're going to help bring peace, because women are naturally the peacekeepers. We're the nurturers. We're the
business equals peace. So that was such a big leap
Yeah,
there for a
it
second.
is.
Now, what do you?
It
Hold
really
on, you got to
is.
break that down for me.
Well, if you look at the state of the world these days, and I try not to because it's kind of sad sometimes, the more women that we empower and bring them into a place of having financial power, which also brings personal power and self-esteem and all that, we'll give them more power in their communities, we'll give them more power in their countries, and we love men, but we don't blow each other up, We don't kill people over land. Like, we make sure the babies are fed. And I know this is a big concept to bring up, but this is really why I'm going to be doing what I'm doing. It's bringing more women into business, into that place of power around the world, because it will bring more peace.
Interesting. I don't know what I think about all this. No, I'm joking.
We're not taking over.
Okay, yeah, you have me scared.
No, we're not taking over. Just a lot of them, we take it for granted in this country, how easy it is to start a business, and especially for women. And then you look at other countries, and women are still so very oppressed. And if there's ways that we can give them, like all the microfunding going on and all that stuff to help women start businesses in other countries.
Are you involved in any of that?
I'm going to start. Yeah, I'm researching now which ones I want to get involved in, and I eventually probably start my own foundation.
Very cool. You may want to check out what we're doing with. We have our Billionaire Adventure Club. Where I don't know if you know that much about it, but we do have our travel group, and we're working with different. In Mongolia, we just worked with the children's orphanage out there, and we work with different places with the hope of eradicating poverty through education and entrepreneurial means. So, might be something of interest to you. We could chat about that. What are you enjoying most in your life right now?
Being home.
Yeah.
I just bought a beautiful new house. I'd rented my whole life until about 2 years ago, and then I got a condo right on the beach, which was a dream come true, but I outgrew it very quickly because I like to work at home. I don't want an office. I'm fighting that as long as I can, not having to see people in the morning and all that. Right. And the real estate prices have been dropping like crazy, so I snagged this beautiful Mediterranean. It's almost a castle. Oh, wow. It's gorgeous. It's like 4,300 square feet. It's right on the water, and I'm like really nesting lately. I'm just enjoying being in the house and being home more and decorating, and just being a girl and making money. But I used to do a lot of speaking and all that stuff. I'm just kind of enjoying. It's summer here, and I'm just really enjoying the beach.
That's fantastic.
Just really chilling.
And so this internet lifestyle has really afforded you a lifestyle that's different than it was before. Because I imagine you were doing a lot of travel or a lot of speaking.
In the beginning, and this happens to everyone, I think you start saying yes to everything. You're like, this is very exciting. I want to go all over and speak all over. And then I realized, wait, I'm teaching people how to make money online so they can be home. And like, why am I not home? Why am I running around? I can teach from home. And so we kind of forget that sometimes, that you can design a business to suit you. And you know, my book that I'm going to be working on this year is really about designing your business to create an extraordinary life, because we forget we have complete control, and we model other people, and that's great, but you need to look at your life and what you want it to look like. Like, I love traveling now just for pleasure. I don't really want to travel for business if I have to. I like being home a lot. I like, you know, my father passed away about 7 weeks ago, and one thing I was so grateful for when that happened was that over the last 2 years we were able to have a lot of time together. And my business afforded me that. And also I made the decision to slow down, to spend time with him. And ironically, when I got my business in true alignment with my values, my income skyrocketed. Like, opportunities just started dropping in my lap. I started attracting even more when I slowed down, when I looked at what I wanted my life to really be like. And I feel very blessed, and I just want to share this with everybody.
I think we need to end on that note.
That's perfect. Huh?
Yes. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
I really appreciate your time. It's been a pleasure getting to know you, and I look forward to the future.
Cool. Thanks.
Cheers.